Hi, I am poet and writer Kaye Spivey, and today I decided to go ahead and do the Authortube in theory and practice tag. Or I guess it's in practice and theory tag. Anyway, I thought it would be fun to have some coffee and sit down and do this tag. I wasn't tagged by anybody. I never am. So here once again, I'm just doing it for funsies. Question number one, how do you usually start writing a poem? In my journal. I start writing all of my poetry in my journal. I think about it first and then I just start going. I just start writing. These are two separate poems. I put a line in between. I date everything. I've showed you this before on my channel. But yeah, I just start writing whatever the line that had come to me as the first part of the poem is. I'll start with that and then I'll just kind of carry on. Usually I can get some momentum going. If I get stuck, I start back at the beginning and I just keep going on down. How do you normally start writing a short story? Very poorly. I sort of have to think about it the way I think about noveling. I have to plan it out a little bit. I haven't written very many short stories. They take me a long time to really like figure out what the premise is. Sometimes I just start whacking out the beginning. Usually the beginnings are easy for me. I have a better time with beginnings than middles and ends. So I'll get to the part that I get stuck and then I'll come back to the beginning and kind of cycle around from the beginning as far as I can go, back to the beginning, then further, and yeah, that's my strategy for both. How do you normally start writing a novel? Similar. Usually a long phase of planning, a lot of it in my head and then some of it kind of working through certain aspects, and then I just start going right from the beginning, just dive in and see what happens. A lot of the time I start right. I'm a believer in the muse, I'm a believer in inspiration, so once that sort of beginning has started, I'll go from there. But then I don't need the muse for everything. I just really, when the muse comes up with a good beginning, I start. Number 4, do you have a writing strategy? Do it. I guess recently my writing strategy has been to do NaNoWriMo a lot for novel writing. For poetry, it's been sit down with my journal open because something is going to come. For short stories, I'm still working on one and we'll see when this old lady gets everything. I keep calling myself old. My birthday's coming up, so this old lady gets her stuff together, then sometime maybe her short story will come out. Do you compose on paper or computer? Poetry, I start on paper every time. I always start in my journal and then it goes onto the computer and that's where it gets revised and everything usually. Novels, short stories, I start them all on the computer. I can't hold a pencil for that long. My wrists aren't good enough for that, so everything is typed out. Number 6, you're allowed to claim one work of fiction as your own. What is it? What would I claim as my own? This is an interesting one because do you go for something really big and say, oh, I wrote Harry Potter, or something old? I wrote Shakespeare. I wrote Hamlet. Or do you go for something obscure that then people might be like, oh, you wrote that? Man, I don't know what I would choose for that. Claim one work of fiction as your own. I don't know if you're going for prestige here or stealing or just like what you want to aspire to be. I'm not sure about this question. This question has me confused. Maybe I need to watch a few more of other people's videos. A lot of you all didn't answer. I'm gonna go do the same. Do you set goals? If so, how? I usually like to do New Year's resolutions, and they'll be big, broad things that I can accomplish throughout the year. Recently I'm doing like weekend to-do lists. I just kind of work towards them. My goals are long-term for the most part because I can't do short-term goals. I start to get really like stubborn against them. It's the Taurus in me, I'm sure. Yeah, long-term goals is usually effective for me. Boom! You've won the Nobel in literature. What is it that got you the award? My poetry. My poetry finally got the recognition it deserves. I always intended to be well known for poetry, but as I get older, like I really want my novel to succeed. But like when people would ask me in college what I was going to be doing in 20 years, I was like, oh, I'll be the poet laureate, obviously. I still want that. I just, ambition and reality become harder and harder to match up as you get older, children. Boom! You're a Nobel winning millionaire! Where do you live? What do you drive? Well, I drive a Subaru. Where do I live? I would have a big property somewhere that's not like hours and hours from the closest town, but outside of the closest town. And I would have acres of property. I would just plant all kinds of fruit trees. We would have like our own little farm going on, get a big dog, have kind of my dream house. We'd have a big greenhouse for my husband because he has a green thumb, and we'd have lots of tropical plants in there. We'd just be growing our own food and fruit and vegetables and living as sustainably as possible. That'd be the dream. If I had enough money to afford like the land, we'd have a big old place and I would just sit and write the whole time. Boom, you're a writer in heaven. There's a lot of booms in this tag. There are 5 writers in your writers group. Who are they? Writers would I get along with? Oh, can be living or dead? I guess we're all in heaven. Oh, why did I have to die? Wait, why is this tag so depressing? Well, if we can do living or dead, I really want to meet Sarah Kaye and cry when I see her and be really awkward, and then I'd have to leave the writers group. So maybe Sarah Kaye can't be in the writers group. But I'd like to meet her anyway. Madeleine L'Engle, I'd love to meet. I want to meet Elizabeth Marie Pope. I want to meet, I don't know who else would get along with really well. There are a lot of people who I'd love to just meet and like get to know, but we probably wouldn't be friends. I was just thinking of Truman Capote. I would not get along with the man, I don't think, but interesting to meet. I was also thinking Edgar Allan Poe. I want to know what's up with Poe. I'd love to meet him, but like, probably. Oh, I know. I know who I would have, obviously. Emily Bronte. Duh. Of course I'd have Emily Bronte. I don't know who else. This is hard. Okay, I wasn't prepared. I didn't prepare for this tag. That's all of the questions anyway. So, no one tagged me, so once again, I'm not gonna tag anybody, but feel free to do this one. Kind of is a dark tag. I don't even know if I liked this one that much, but I really wanted to just cozy up and have some coffee. Anyone notice what I've done with my hair before I leave? This is Viral shampoo in the color Lavender. It actually came out pretty good, but it damaged the heck out of my hair. Everyone said that it would not damage my hair, it would leave it really soft. My hair is like crispy damaged because of this. And like, I knew that the color was too light to stick on my roots because they were darker, but it took a lot to get it to stick this much, so I kind of like how it looks. I like how it's just like faded at the bottom, but man, it ruined my hair. I wasn't supposed to do this. I don't know. I'm just so rambly. I don't know what I want. I watched A Star Is Born last night and it lived up to the hype so well. But like the big song happens like a quarter of the way through, so I was like, oh, feeling of dread, bad things are gonna happen. And they did. That is a depressing as heck movie. Oh boy, I was really not prepared for it. The acting, it lives up to the hype completely. The movie is great, but like, oh, be in a safe space when you see it. It was devastating. Yeah, I need to come up with a better phrase than good luck to all of us, because it's kind of awkward to say, but it's like what I want to say for this year, because we need it. I need luck, you need luck, the world needs luck, and some action. Have a nice day.